Between 6 and the 11th of August 2011, thousands of people rioted in several London boroughs and in cities and towns across England. The resulting chaos generated looting, arson, and mass deployment of police and resulted in the death of 5 people. Disturbances began on 6 August after a protest in Tottenham, London, following the death of Mark Duggan, a local man who was shot dead by police on 4 August. Several violent clashes with police ensued, along with the destruction of police vehicles, a double-decker bus, and many homes and businesses, thus rapidly gaining attention from the media. Overnight, looting took place in Tottenham Hale Retail Park in nearby Wood Green. The following days saw similar scenes in other parts of London, with the most rioting taking place in Hackney, Brixton, Walthamstow, Peckham, Enfield, Battersea, Croydon, Ealing, Barking, Woolwich, Lewisham and East Ham. From 8 to 10 August, other towns and cities in England saw what was described by the media as copycat violence. Social media sites including Facebook also featured rumors of further disturbances or details surrounding known disturbances which were later proven to be inaccurate. For instance, there were rumors of disturbances in the town of Dudley and at the nearby Merry Hill shopping centre, but no incidents in these areas were detected by police. Rumors of a hospital being targeted by rioters in Birmingham were also proven to be wrong, as were rumors of disturbances in the Heath Town district of Wolverhampton, which had witnessed a serious riot more than 20 years earlier. By the 15th of August, more than 3,000 arrests had been made across England, with more than 1,000 people issued with criminal charges for various offences related to the riots. Initially, courts sat for extended hours. There were a total 3,443 crimes across London linked to the disorder. Along with the 5 deaths, at least 16 others were injured as a direct result of related violent acts. An estimated £200 million worth of property damage was incurred, and local economic activity was significantly compromised. The online video website YouTube was soon host to much video footage of the riots, which had been recorded by witnesses and participants. The riots have generated significant ongoing debate among political, social and academic figures about the causes and context in which they happened. Attributions for the rioters' behavior include structural factors such as racism, classism, and economic decline, as well as cultural factors like criminality, hooliganism, breakdown of social morality, and gang culture. Police shooting of Mark Duggan. On Thursday, 4 August 2011, a police officer shot and killed 29-year-old Mark Duggan during an intelligence-led, targeted vehicle stop procedure on the Ferry Lane Bridge next to Tottenham Hale Station. The Independent Police Complaints Commission said that the planned arrest was a part of Operation Trident, which at that time investigated gun crime within the black community. The incident had been referred to the IPCC, which is standard practice if death or serious injury follows police contact. After the shooting, the media widely reported that a bullet was found embedded in a police radio, implying that Duggan fired on the police. Friends and relatives of Duggan said that he was unarmed. The police later revealed that initial ballistics tests on the bullet recovered from the police radio indicate that it was a very distinct police-issue hollow-point bullet. The IPCC later stated that a loaded Bruni BBM blank-firing pistol, converted to fire live ammunition, was recovered from the scene. It was wrapped in a sock and there was no evidence that it had been fired. On 13 August, the Independent Police Complaints Commission stated that Duggan did not open fire. It seems possible that we may have verbally led journalists to believe that shots were exchanged. The bullet that had lodged in an office's radio is believed to have been an over-penetration, having passed through Duggan's body. At lunchtime on 6 August, 7 hours before the march and subsequent riot took place, a meeting meeting was called by police between local community leaders, councillors and members of police advisory groups. In this meeting, police were warned several times that there could possibly be another riot similar to the Broadwater Farm riot of 1985 if local concerns regarding the death were not addressed. On 8 January 2014, a jury at the Royal Courts of Justice came to the conclusion, by a majority of 8-2, that Duggan was lawfully killed. Protest march on Saturday 6 August. A protest was held, initially peacefully, beginning at Broadwater Farm and finishing at Tottenham Police Station. The protest was organised by friends and relatives of Duggan to demand justice for the family. Rioting occurred shortly after. About 120 people marched from the Broadwater Farm estate to Tottenham Police Station via the High Road. The group of some 300 people demanded that a senior local police officer come out to speak to them. When Chief Inspector Adi Adelekan arrived, he was met with boos and cries of "Murderer," "Uncle Tom," and "Coconut." The crowd stayed in front of the police station hours longer than they originally planned because they were not satisfied with the seniority of the officers available at the time. 2 police cars were left unattended 4 hours, from before 6 p.m. Thugs tried 4 hours, at first unsuccessfully, to smash and set fire to the cars while police did nothing. A man, Ben Stockman, filmed this on Forster Road outside his house and was the first attacked before the riots officially started outside his house, and the police and emergency services were called after, by him and by onlookers and neighbors. They failed to attend the scene. They were called again, by several sources, and again, failed to show up. They said they would not attend due to the riot, even though official reports say they were attending people who needed help. Official reports also claim violence broke out much later when it started much earlier. Emergency services refused and failed to act. Various bottles had been removed by rioters from the house of Mr. Stockman during this first attack. Violence broke out after a 16-year-old girl engaged the officers by throwing a champagne bottle at them. Police swarmed the girl and allegedly injured her, upsetting the crowd and inciting larger conflict. Riots. A peaceful march on Saturday 6 August in Tottenham was followed by rioting and looting, first in Tottenham and later in Tottenham Hale Retail Park. The spread of news and rumours about the previous evening's disturbances in Tottenham sparked riots during the night of Sunday 7 August in the London districts of Brixton, Enfield, Islington and Wood Green, and in Oxford Circus in the centre of London. The morning of Monday 8 August was quiet, but by evening, areas across London were affected by widespread looting, arson and violence, with significant outbreaks in parts of Battersea, Brixton, Bromley, Camden, Croydon, Ealing, East Ham, Hackney, Harrow, Lewisham, Peckham, Stratford, Waltham Forest, Woolwich, and Wood Green. A man was found shot in Croydon, and died later in hospital. Another man who had been assaulted in Ealing died in hospital on Thursday 11 August. Similar riots were reported outside London, notably in Birmingham, Bristol, Gloucester, Gillingham and Nottingham. Following a greatly increased police presence, London was quiet on Tuesday 9 August, but rioting continued in Nottingham and Birmingham and spread to Leicester, parts of the West Midlands and to parts of Greater Manchester and Merseyside in the northwest of England. On Wednesday 10 August, London remained quiet while hundreds of arrests were being made by the police. 3 men were killed in Birmingham in a hit-and-run incident related to the disturbances. Looting and violence continued in 2 locations around Manchester and Liverpool. Social media. Throughout the rioting, many of the rioters failed to cover their faces. Some posed for pictures with stolen goods, posting them on social networking sites. Although London employs CCTV cameras to monitor crime in large events, Reports indicate that citizen footage contributed more to capturing looters in action than the police force. Beyond the CCTV, looters were filmed and photographed with their faces visible. Police forces and investigators used websites like Flick to find galleries of the looters to help solve and prevent cases of vandalism and further damage. Facebook pages were also created to identify looters. Several interactive maps were implemented in the Google Maps website that showed satellite views of what was happening in the streets during the rioting. James Cridland, the managing director of the Free Media Resources, created a Google map that tracked verified locations of rioting. Channel 4 News also had similar maps that progressively tracked the damage in the streets as well. News channels also were able to utilize this public service to capture live footage on the streets and inform citizens of dangerous or crowded areas. BlackBerry Messenger. There were reports that the BlackBerry Messenger service was used by looters to organize their activities, and that inflammatory and inaccurate accounts of Mark Duggan's killing on social media sites may have incited disturbances. One of the many messages shared between users was the following: "Everyone in Edmonton, Enfield Wood Green, everywhere in Northlink up at Enfield Town Station at 4 o'clock sharp! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. It began. Start leaving our yards and linking up with your niggers. Fucked our feds, bring your ballies and your bags, trolleys, cars, vans, hammers, the lot." Research in motion assisted British police in tracking rioters who used BBM, stating, "We comply with the Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act and cooperate fully with the Home Office and UK police forces." Increased connectivity among individuals has led to a greater ability to organize and execute massive gatherings. This has not occurred only with the riots in England, but with other collective gatherings such as the Arab Spring and the Egyptian Revolution of 2011. Twitter. Much like BBM, the mobility of technology shaped the London riots. During the Tottenham riots of 1985, citizens had to head into a public place to voice their message. Yet, with access to Twitter as a communication medium, social media was used to rapidly spread messages of the riots. Radio 4 criticized Twitter's contribution to the riots through greed and criminality. The Daily Telegraph described Twitter as being an outlet for promoting gang violence. Evidence shows that Twitter is powerful because tweets of individuals were inspired by news content. However, an article in Time magazine suggested BlackBerry Messenger was more to blame. During the riots, Twitter accounted for 4 out of every 170 UK internet visits on Monday, the 8th of August. As shown in the London riots, Twitter users send a message to millions. Data collected from the London riots displayed Twitter as a tool to support one's point, and tweets made popular by newsworthy people. Twitter is an effective communication medium with its simple tools such as retweeting and hashtags, making it effortless for users to spread a message. The hashtag system allows people to band together under a common cause without having previously met. In addition, citizens also used Twitter to band together. After the destruction, the aftermath of the riots resulted in a disrupted city. Jet Twitter was further used to maintain peace, with hashtags including #RiotCleanup. Another prominent tool includes retweeting and having one clear message heard. Evidence shows that people were tweeting and retweeting news related to the riots, not original content. Mobile phones. Other than BlackBerry Messenger and social networking sites, mobile phone operators T-Mobile and Orange prioritized police requests for information about the phones that were used to plan the riots that hit British cities. Under the Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act, phone companies were required to hand over data about the locations calls were made from, the owners of phones, and lists of calls made to and from a particular handset.